Zen. What do we have today? We got a Jackson. This is actually the only Jackson I have in the house right now. So yeah, I had a 6-string Jackson for a while with Floyd Rose on, and I sold that a while back, and I regret it, of course. So this, as you can see, is it's a 7-string. It is a Jackson Dinky archtop JK22-7 DKA HT. It's a mouthful, but this is what it is. Now, the weird thing is, if you go looking for that online, you're going to find 2 different guitars with the same model name from Jackson. And there's actually a third one that's similar but a little more different, and it actually has a little different name. But that DKA HT JS22-7, that's this, but it's also this. Yeah, these are soap bar style. The one I posted up over here is regular humbucker style. This one's got a gloss finish in black. That one has a matte finish in black. But yeah, they have 2 of them, and they're just the same name. This you will not find on the Jackson website. I got this through Musician's Friend, and you can still get it through Musician's Friend. I've also seen it on Guitar Center. It's on sale right now at Musician's Friend for $179.99, $180, and regular price would be $199.99, which is what it's on sale at Guitar Center for, $200. So the third version of this, and I'll put that over here too, hang it up, is it's basically the other version of this guitar with the humbuckers, but it's got a maple fretboard, and it's $209.99. So yeah, there's basically 3 versions of this guitar, 2 of them with the same name. The maple version actually has a different name. So of the 3 models, I actually like this one a little better, if for no other reason than it's got an actual rosewood fretboard. So my first warning with this guitar is be wary if you're ordering it online. If you can get into a shop and play one, cool. But when I got this thing out of the box, the fret sprout on it was so bad, it cut my fingers. I didn't even realize it. I was excited. I got it. I was playing it. And you know, 20 minutes later, I looked down and my hand was bloody. Yeah, it was not good. So I ended up having to get out my fret file and go do the edges of everything around, and I went ahead and did that. I didn't send it back. If you can find these in a Guitar Center somewhere and try one out and make sure that the frets are good, you're going to be in good shape. So let's go over some of the things about it that are good, because that's honestly the only really bad thing. Obviously the price is good, $180. You're going to have a hard time finding a 7-string that's $180 that's as good as one of these. I got this because I wanted to try out a 7-string. My music that I write for me is generally heavier. It's not like hardcore metal, but it's somewhere between hard rock and metal. And I just wanted to try a 7-string out, but I didn't want to, you know, lay out $500+ to get something higher up. I just wanted to see if it was something I was going to get into. As it turns out, I enjoy it. It's still not my main thing. I'd rather play a 6-string that's drop tuned to D. But this low B, man, it gets down there. And generally speaking, and particularly this model, that's a metal guitar. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Gloss black, 7 strings, it just looks like a metal guitar. Here's a big surprise, it's a poplar body. They just must have a lot of poplar out there, because it's everywhere these days. I have no problem with it at all. I did weigh it at 7.3 pounds. It's fine. What a guitar, around 7 pounds is a good weight for a guitar. I have no problem with it at all. Maple, bolt-on neck with a rosewood fingerboard. Again, I'm really surprised. When I bought it, don't even think I realized it was a rosewood fretboard. The look is definitely a little sharper. I mean, if you can see there, it's a little more consistent across the entire neck, and it's a little darker than what you're going to get out of Laurel and Palfaro. Again, bolt-on neck, no problem. Heel, I don't have issues with that. I do like when it's sculpted, but you know, for $180, $200, you're not going to get much of a sculpted heel on one of these things. 26.5-inch scale. A longer scale, extended scale, so that the tension on the low strings is better. Otherwise, they'd be flopping around even more. Yeah, low B on a 25.5-inch would probably be pretty floppy. I do feel like I'm stretching my fingers a little bit more, particularly when playing way up on the neck here, way down on the neck here. this way, this part where it's wider. Up here you don't notice much difference, but when you get down here and you're trying to do some stuff, it can get a little wide for your fingers there. So jumbo frets, they're also just fine. Again, I have no problem with jumbo frets. I'm going to put a link down below kind of describing what the difference is with frets. Back of the neck is a satin finish. Again, nice. It's a flat C. It is fast, meant to be played fast, and it's well designed for that. It's really good. It's like I said, a satin finish, good natural feel to it. Graphite reinforced truss rod. Again, longer scale, more strings, more tension, so they're going to make sure that this neck isn't going bad on you. I've had this several years, and I may have adjusted the neck twice, and that's pretty common just in doing maintenance whenever you're changing your strings and stuff. So fretboard's 12 to 16 inch compound radius. So it starts 12 up here, goes to 16 down here. Again, it's flatter, more for shredding, more for playing faster. Other than the issue with the fret sprout, this neck is just about perfect. That's why it was so disappointing to have my hand bleeding. They didn't mention what kind of nut it is. I would imagine it's just what do they call synthetic bone or plastic. It's nothing special, or they would have mentioned that it was something special, and they didn't. It's a wider nut, obviously, because there's an extra string on the guitar. So the spacing of the strings is really nice too. It feels a little wider than you would get on a standard Strat. All right, let's get to the pickups. These are Jackson pickups. They don't tell you a lot about them. They just say Jackson high output humbuckers. So underneath these bars are humbucker pickups. Warning, as he cleans it, if you ever get one of these and want to replace the pickups, make sure you get soap bar style pickups. Why? How do I know this? Because I was an idiot and I ordered a nice Pegasus Seymour Duncan, but if you look at it close, that's a regular humbucker pickup. It does not fit in here. You can't even take this cover off and put it on this. It doesn't fit. These pickups are fine though, particularly for the cost of the guitar. I actually think they're better than the price of the guitar. After recording with them, it's got a standard 7-string metal sound. It's crunchy. It's got a nice harshness to it, a metal type of harshness to it, which leads me to believe these are probably ceramic pickups, which would make sense. But clean is where I really found them to be surprising, because they've got a nice compressed sound to them. They didn't sound mushy or muddy or anything. They actually sound really good clean. So that was a pleasant surprise. Let's just confirm here, this was crafted in China. With the pickups, it's got a very simple configuration, 3-way switch, just bridge, both, or neck. I like that a lot. No other floppy switches, no push-pulls, a very basic setup. Again, for a beginner in particular, this is going to be an easy guitar to figure out. You're going to get your sounds out of it, and you're going to play it. That's all that you need. That's just the basics, and I really like that. Hardtail bridge, yeah, no tremolo, and nice because it's string through the body. So some people will tell you that'll give you more sustain or different tone. I don't know, particularly when you crank the high gain up on the amp. I don't know if it makes that much of a difference, but it does have it. On the other end of the guitar though, tuning pegs, I've yet to find a guitar, particularly out of China, sometimes out of Indonesia, that has really good tuning pegs. The word I use a lot, and I'll use it again for this particular guitar, is adequate. They will stay in tune for a song. They will stay in tune for a couple of songs. But when I'm recording, and if I'm bending a lot of notes, I have to retune, and I will retune between takes or between songs. And if I was going to change anything out, I would change these tuning pegs out, probably put locking tuners on it. These are fine. Again, adequate is the key word. So the 7-string experiment for me was successful. It's inspired me enough to get a step up from this. Like I said, we'll cover that later. Got all the specs covered. Let's give it some ratings. Look and finish, +1, hands down, easy. I say it just about every video now. What they're doing in China and in Indonesia and Korea and in Mexico and in the US and anywhere they're making guitars in bulk these days, they're just making them very well. They look good. Pickups. I'm going to give +1 to the pickups because I think these are better than $180 guitar pickups. I I was only going to replace one because that's what I do, but I could easily work with these pickups. I got to give +1 to the neck, and there's a huge caveat coming here, obviously. Everything about this neck is really cool. It's got the rosewood fretboard. It's got the satin finish. It's really playable, and that's a +1. However, that fret sprout is just absolutely, completely, 100% unacceptable. So the fret sprout, it's a -1. Oops. It's a -1, man. I cannot have that. If you get a guitar like this and it's got fret sprout, send it back. Tell the salespeople, yeah, you play it and bloody your fingers. So, yeah, that's so disappointing. Maybe I just got the bad one. I would hope that's what it is, because other than that, this is a great guitar. It's a really good, for the price, for a beginner, for somebody trying out 7 strings, for recording. And would I have played it out the day I got it? And no, because that fret sprout was awful. It was bad enough I'm sitting here bleeding at home. I'm not going to go to a show and then have blood all over my guitar and my hand. It's unacceptable. So we're going to stick with 7 out of 10 on this one. That's not horrible. It's appropriate. I think it's a low expectation not to bleed when you're playing a guitar. And this one made me bleed. I don't hate this guitar. I don't want to hurt its feelings. It's a good guitar, and like I said, I've recorded with it. Would I recommend this? Yeah, with the caveat that you need to try one out before you actually get it, or get it from a place that you know it's being inspected before it's being sent to you. It's a metal guitar, man. Rock on. Thanks again for watching. I'm still doing it. I'm struggling a little bit with the camera stuff sometimes, and the sound stuff sometimes. It's still running, that's good. But I'm working on it, and I'm trying to get better. And as I said, this is a one-man show. I do all the shooting, all the editing, you know, all the writing, and but I enjoy it. At the end of the day, I enjoy it. Any questions, any comments, please be sure to leave them below. I try and check those regularly. And yeah, as I always say, please just keep making music. That's what this is all about. So thanks again. See ya. Ow. Fuzz falling from the sky. That's a good place for a cut. None more black. It's a dust magnet. Let's start. I already started. We're not starting now. We're continuing. With fade in, they fade out. I have that desire to know, and it's a little obsessive sometimes. So, I'll just buy another guitar and put that in another guitar. Can we stop doing that, please? I don't know.